Hello everyone. Welcome back to Dr. Markin Saikia's talk on foreign affairs. After a long time we are meeting because I had some other responsibilities. So let's go ahead. Today we are going to discuss a very important topic, that is Kurdistan demand, whether it is a myth or a reality. We all have been hearing about Kurdistan. Where is it? Why this demand? How this demand can be fulfilled, whether this can be fulfilled or not. Let's discuss about this, because some days back we had seen Turkish government had a conflict to it, Kurdish rebels. So it had just come to my mind. Let's discuss about the topic and clear all the doubts about what is Kurdistan and why the demand. You know, the history of Kurdistan is deeply intertwined with the geography, polity, and economy of West Asia, especially the sovereign countries of Turkey, Iraq, Iran, and Syria. Because the Kurdish people are largely scattered in these four countries of the region, including one more country, that is Armenia. For centuries, people belonging to numerous ethnicities have migrated, settled, and many of them have naturally inhabited in West Asia, like the Persians, Arabs, Turks, Armenians, Azeris, Chechens, etc. But unfortunately, the Kurds are the only ones who have remained stateless till date. Very, very unfortunate. The Kurds are sometimes regarded as the largest nation without its own independent country. Between 25 to 35 million of them are living in the mountainous regions that straddle the borders of Turkey, Iraq, Syria, Iran, and Armenia. Probably, the Kurds are the fourth largest ethnic group in the West Asian region without a state. They are one of the most widely known indigenous peoples belonging to the ancient Mesopotamian plains and highlands. Today, they are mainly scattered over southeastern Turkey, northeastern Syria, northern Iraq, northwestern Iran, and southwestern Armenia. Thus, they have claims over all these territories currently under the occupation of five sovereign nations. So, friends, do you think it will be possible for the Kurds people to carve out an independent state or a country out of all the territories they are residing in these five independent countries? Let's see. The history of Kurdistan goes back to the historic Sykes-Picot Agreement of 1916, under which the Middle East was divided into separate zones of the British and French influence. After the First World War, the Treaty of Sevres was signed in 1920 that dissolved the Ottoman Empire and proposed to create an autonomous Kurdish state. But Mustafa Kemal Atatürk, the new leader of Turkey, outrightly rejected the Treaty of Sevres and the demand of an independent Kurdistan. This treaty was replaced by the Treaty of Lausanne, negotiated with the Turkish government, that had no mention about the Kurdistan state. Since then, the Kurds across the five nation states of Turkey, Syria, Iran, Iraq, and Armenia are raising the banner of revolt for an independent homeland. By January 22nd, 1946, the Kurds in Iran established the Republic of Mahabad in Iran, when it was under the control of the USSR during the Second World War. But after the withdrawal of the Soviet troops, Iran took control of Mahabad in December 1946. Mustafa Barzani, who was considered as the father of Kurdish nationalism, established the Kurdish Democratic Party of Iraq in August 16, 1946, while in exile in Mahabad, Iran. Later, it was renamed as the Kurdistan Democratic Party, KDP, which became the most dominant political party of the Kurds till 1970s in Iraq. By 1961, under the leadership of Barzani, the Iraqi Kurds started their rebellion against the Ba'athist regime of Baghdad for not fulfilling the demand for autonomy. In 1962, the Kurds, numbering 120,000, were stripped of their citizenship by Syria, and the regime of Hafiz al-Assad established an Arab belt along the border of Turkey in 1973 by displacing thousands of Kurds. The year 1974 witnessed the establishment of Kurdistan Workers' Party, that is known as PKK, under the leadership of Abdullah Öcalan. It is a Marxist organization that aims to bring an independent Kurdistan in the southeastern part of Turkey. From 1984 onwards, the PKK has been using violent tactics to fight the Turkish state. Thereafter, the Kurds came at a disadvantageous position with the signing of the Algiers Accord between Iraq and Iran in 1975. With the US funding coming to an end and the occupation of Kurdish territory in northern Iraq, the Kurdish rebellion suffered a huge loss. After the collapse of the rebellion, the Kurdish fighters were divided into two groups. The original group under Bajrani remained, but branding him as a reactionary, Jalal Talabani formed the Patriotic Union of Kurdistan, that is PUK, in Sorani-speaking areas of central Iraq. From 1970 to 1990, the Kurds fought both in Iraq and in Iran, but they could hardly force the respective regimes to yield to their demands. The worst came to them in Iraq when Saddam Hussein launched Kurdish genocide in 1988 that led to the killing of more than 180,000 Kurds. On March 16, the same year, he unleashed a mustard and sarin gas attack on the Kurds in the town of Halabja, killing about 5,000 of them. Even after the Iranian Revolution of 1979, the leadership of Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini, the Kurds were tortured, completely sidelined in Iran. With the US-led Operation Provide Comfort and later Operation Northern Watch against Saddam regime in Iraq, the fleeing Kurds, nearing 1 million, came back home from Turkey and Iran, and they elected the first Kurdistan regional government and National Assembly in 1992. Since then, till the rise of the Islamic State in 2014, the Kurdish parties and the groups had undergone massive changes and faced upheavals in Iraq, Iran, Syria, and Turkey, but failed to achieve their independent homeland. Interestingly, the US fully supported the Kurds in its war against the Islamic State in West Asia, particularly in Syria and Iraq. But then, once the war coming to an end and President Assad bringing back his control over the major war zones of Syria with the support from Iran and Russia, the Kurds go nowhere. They're still fighting an endless war with the hope that someday they will have an independent land. Now, friends, let me give you a brief what has happened in the last 2 or 3 weeks. The recent attack of the Kurdish rebels and the killing of nearly 12 Turkish soldiers in northern Iraq has again highlighted the continued threat from the outlawed PKK. In response to the killing, the Turkish army had launched massive airstrikes and neutralized around 26 PKK fighters. Subsequently, arrested dozens of pro-Kurdistan opposition activists. The PKK has been designated as a terrorist group by Turkey, the US, and by the European Union. Almost anyone who will be visiting and meeting the Kurds will hear them quip that they are no landsmen today. Their largest group of inhabitants, numbering almost 40 million till date, without having a permanent state. Shockingly, the four major states where the Kurds particularly live, Turkey, Iraq, Iran, and Syria, all of them have either failed or not genuinely interested to conduct an apolitical census of the Kurd population. That's the saddest part. It's a matter of critical political contestation in all these states, and the successive regimes in Ankara, Baghdad, Tehran, and Damascus have simply ignored the persistent attempts of the Kurds to establish themselves under a single political community for decades now. Who is responsible for making the Kurds stateless? Can there be a permanent solution? Frankly, the Kurdish dream of an independent state needs support and compromise from Turkey, Iran, Iraq, and Syria. And it is a very intricate issue because all these countries do not have a consensus on the demands of the Kurdish people and their leaders over the decades. And the Kurds have remained homeless simply because of the initial division of West Asia by the European colonial powers, as I have told you earlier, and subsequent neglect by the regional rulers of their demands. Further, the Kurds have today enough factions in all these countries, and they do not have a coherent strategy to fight the respective regimes. Today, they are seen as a threat to territorial integrity of Turkey, Iraq, and Syria, though they have been living there for decades. So for me, the road ahead is long and arduous for the Kurds to attain their homeland in the days to come. So friends, what I say is that, the next big thing that what we will see from this state of statelessness and homelessness is complete despair for the Kurdish people. They need to fight it out. And all these countries of the region, Turkey, Iraq, Iran, Syria, and Armenia, they need to take a genuine interest for the Kurdish people. They, deserve an independent state. The call for the independent state must be heard by all these people and the big powers of the world. They cannot remain homeless for years to come and decades to come. Already they have been tortured, they have been maimed, and they have been deprived for all these years. So we all hope that one fine day the Kurdish people will have their own homeland. and they will be enjoying the freedom under one nation umbrella. Thank you so much, friends, for listening to me once again. And I request all of you to watch my other two channels, Dr. Markan's IKS Talk on National Affairs and Political Science by Dr. Markan. I'll be again coming up with lots of interesting videos to all of you in the days to come. Thank you and bye-bye.